Coco Gauff voices displeasure over U.S. immigration crackdown and calls for peace. Coco Gauff has expressed her deep concern for the situation in the United States, particularly regarding the recent deaths of two American citizens, Renee Good and Alex Pretty, who were killed by Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, agents in Minneapolis. The two-time Grand Slam singles champion emphasized the emotional toll these events take on her, stating, "It is tough to wake up and see something because I do care a lot about our country." The protests following the deaths of Good and Pretty have sparked widespread outrage, particularly among American athletes. Gauff mentioned that she has witnessed this discontent from abroad, as she often spends time competing overseas. During the Australian Open, she urged for more peace and kindness in the nation, calling for a collective push towards understanding and compassion. Her sentiments were shared by fellow American athlete Madison Keys, who advocated for immigrants and highlighted the diversity they bring to the country. "I hope the country can come together," she stated, echoing Gauff's calls for unity amid the tension surrounding immigration policies. In a response to the backlash, President Donald Trump's border chair, Tom Homan, announced that the immigration enforcement operation in Minnesota would come to a halt. Homan detailed how Operation Metro Surge had led to the apprehension of many undocumented immigrants, particularly those with a history of violent crimes. However, this initiative was met with significant controversy and protest stemming from the tragic deaths of American citizens Good and Pretty, prompting a re-evaluation of its implications. Despite Homan's remarks that more than 4,000 undocumented immigrants had been detained, he affirmed that ICE's presence in Minnesota will persist. The ongoing debate over immigration policy and its repercussions is proving to be a pivotal issue within the United States, resonating deeply with citizens and public figures alike, including Gauff. As she prepares for her competition in Dubai, Gauff remains committed to using her platform to advocate for the issues she believes in, reflecting the sentiments of countless Americans grappling with complex social justice issues. When Coco Gauff steps onto a tennis court, the world sees speed, precision, power, and promise. At just 21, she is already one of the most gifted athletes of her generation, a two-time Grand Slam champion, among the highest-paid female athletes, and a global ambassador for her sport. Yet what has captivated many recently isn't only her athletic brilliance, but her courage in speaking out on issues far beyond tennis, especially those involving immigration, justice, and peace in the United States. A deep love for her country, and a willingness to critique it. At the Dubai Duty-Free Tennis Championships earlier this month, Gauff was asked about events back home in the United States. Thousands of miles from American soil, she did something that, in decades past, might have been rare for elite athletes. She answered honestly, with emotion, conviction, and compassion. "I don't think people should be dying in the streets just for existing," she said, speaking directly to the tragic deaths of Renee Good and Alex Pretty in Minneapolis, both killed in incidents involving U.S. federal agents during an intensified immigration crackdown. Her words have a striking simplicity, yet behind them lies deep reflection. She loves her country, but she is willing to critique its leaders and systems when they stray from values she believes define America at its best. "I'm very proud to be American," she said, "but I don't like what's going on." This nuance is vital. Gauff isn't rejecting America. She's calling it to account, urging it to live up to ideals of human dignity, diversity, and peace. Why this matters: athletes, platforms, and politics. In an era where public figures often avoid controversy for fear of backlash, Gauff's stance is remarkable. Elite athletes are no longer just competitors, they are cultural voices with massive platforms. And Gauff understands this. When pressed, she refused to sidestep the topic, saying that if she's asked a question about society, she'll answer honestly, even when it's tough. She's also pushed back at the idea that athletes should stay out of politics, arguing that when societal injustices affect people's lives, silence is not neutrality. Her willingness to speak stems, in part, from personal history. Her maternal grandmother, Yvonne Lee Odom, was an activist who helped desegregate public schools in Florida in the 1960s. It's a legacy of activism that shaped Gauff's conscience and gives her confidence to speak on sensitive topics. Dove # call for peace, compassion, and unity. What makes Gauff's message especially resonant is its underlying plea for humanity. She isn't ranting with rage, she's pleading with empathy. Her call for peace goes beyond mere protest. It is a reminder that every human life is valuable, that violence against civilians should not be normalized, and that societal change requires both courage and compassion. I think people think I don't care about my country for speaking out, she said. But I do. I care a lot. Her words tap into a broader conversation unfolding across the U.S., one that involves not just politics, but identity, justice, and how Americans want their country to treat every human being. Many observers believe that the heart of the immigration debate isn't merely about borders or laws, but about how to balance security with humanity, fairness with enforcement, and strength with compassion. Globe showing Europe-Africa global attention and the power of sports diplomacy. That Gauff spoke these words on an international stage, thousands of miles from Minnesota, thousands of miles from Washington, underscores how interconnected the world has become. In today's media age, a major figure in Dubai can influence the conversation back in the U.S., just as voices from Europe, Africa, and Asia echo in American discourse. Sports figures have consistently been at the crossroads of politics and consciousness, from Muhammad Ali's principled stance to Billie Jean King's advocacy for equality. The tennis world has produced athletes unafraid to tackle issues of moral and social importance. Gauff fits within this tradition, not as an outsider, but as someone deeply rooted in conviction and informed by personal experience. Handshake, a message of hope, not division. Importantly, Gauff does not advocate division or hatred. Her plea is for peace, kindness, and a return to values that elevate human dignity. It's about finding common ground in a deeply polarized society, and urging leaders and citizens to remember that disagreement need not be dehumanizing. Her critique does not cancel her patriotism. Instead, it highlights a commitment to her nation's highest ideals. Her stance reflects a belief that loving one's country sometimes means challenging it to be better. Microphone, the broader American conversation. Gauff is not alone. Many U.S. athletes, artists, and public figures have weighed in on immigration and civil rights issues. Some choose silence, others choose voice. What Gauff offers is a powerful example of responsible influence, using celebrity not to divide, but to elevate discourse.